Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be attempting to read all of my YA Fairyloot books, okay? There's 3 of these, but there's actually a 4th one I have back home. It's this one, okay? I need to see if I like this box. So I have a bunch of the Fairyloot books. I haven't been reading them recently, okay? And these are just some of them. I have 3 other ones from the adult box on my bookshelves right now, and I have another adult box book back in Portugal along with the other YA. So I have 4 boxes that I have not picked up the books for in the last 4 months because my life has been crazy running around and I have not had the time to actually sit down and enjoy these books as they deserve to be enjoyed. So today's video, I'm going to be reading all of the YA books I got from the previous 4 boxes because I really want to understand if the YA box is actually worth it or not. YA has become kind of a weird thing for me where there's books I really enjoy and then there's books that are absolutely not up my alley anymore. I feel like at 28 years old, YA is not always for me, okay? There's some series that just hit and there's others where I'm just like, no. So I really want to understand if this box is really for me and I want to know if it's worth me keeping it. Either way, I'm still going to receive the February one because if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be built in like a couple of days and I don't have time to understand if I'm going to like it or not. So maybe we might even have another book to add to this vlog. Who knows? At least 4 books, maybe 5 books. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so I'm not even gonna move because I already know I'm gonna start reading this book later today when I go to bed. And I don't want to have to prop everything up and set everything up again. Okay, guys? Okay? So let me read you the blurb for this book. For decades, the world has been caught in a cold war between 2 powerful nations, Medaluo and Atahua. The Medan orphans who live in Ottawa suffer the cost. Their enrollment at Nile Military Academy is mandatory. Either serve as a soldier or risk being labeled a spy. 18-year-old Aral is one such orphan. Having recently graduated and joined the Nile Corps forces, she's doing well for herself until Ottawa's most wanted anarchist frames her for assassinating a government official, and she's given a choice: cooperate with him to search for a dangerous program in Medaluo or go down for treason. Meanwhile, 17-year-old Leah is close to her own graduation when she's paired with her academic nemesis for one final assignment. But when they are ordered to infiltrate Medaluo in a virtual reality, Leah quickly realizes there is much more at stake than her school ranking. As Aral and Leah tear through Medaluo on separate courses, the 2 start to suspect they are pieces in a larger conspiracy, and the closer they get to the truth, the closer their worlds come to a shattering collision. The start of a daring new dystopian series following 2 young soldiers who must depend on unlikely allies in their fight for survival. I love the fact that we have 2 FMCs, okay? And I'm so excited. Oh, I'm really in the sci-fi mood. I feel like this year is going to be my high fantasy / sci-fi year. This is going to be tonight's read, okay? So, yeah. I'll stay here while you sit there, and you're gonna be real cute. The cutest cutie pie ever. Oh my god, such a cutie pie. Oh my god, such a cutie pie. He's so thin right now because he's sick. Our baby boy is really sick. It doesn't look like it, I know. But on the inside, he's sick. And so it's hard for me to look at him when he's so thin. But he has been eating, so that's good. And he's improving, but all in due time, I guess. All in due time. So, it's time to start our book. It's so gorgeous. Look at this. This is what I'm gonna be picking up. Oh my god, this is gorgeous. Hey y'all, so I have been reading, okay, and I'm done for tonight. I'm not getting up or setting up anything in a nice way because he is absolutely knackered on my lap and I'm not gonna move the baby, okay? Look at him. He's just completely knackered. I'm not gonna do that to him. I read about yay much. Okay, it's not much, let's be honest. It's about like 3 or 4 chapters, but I am loving this thing, okay? Loving it, okay? It's really good. I like the writing, I like the style, I like the world, the creativity, like just the sci-fi setting itself is absolutely amazing. The dystopian reality as well. The fact that you have 2 different worlds, like a real world and virtual world, the mechanics of like the insurgents and this, all of it so far immaculate, super interesting, super interested. Like I'm living for this, okay? Like I'm really enjoying it. This was just exactly what I wanted, okay? And even though this is YA, I feel like it's only YA and like the age range of the characters, because everything else is very interesting, and I'm not feeling it the very YA simplistic way of things, you know? Like this is really good. I'm really liking it so far. Unfortunately, I didn't read as much as I wanted to. I kept like taking breaks because I don't know, yeah, I got distracted a little bit here and there. Wasn't able to read as much as I wanted to. I'm definitely hoping to read some more tomorrow, but yeah, I'm really liking it. I hope you guys give this a chance one day, because it's really good if you like sci-fi. So far anyways, I think this is gonna be a solid like 4.5. I honestly do, but I don't want to jinx it because God knows I've been disappointed in the past. So we will see how this goes. And yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep. And I'll talk to you later whenever I have time to read some more. So yeah, because it's like close to 3 in the morning, so I need to go to sleep, even though I don't want to, and I'm not sleepy, but I need to force myself. So yeah. Bye. Hey y'all, so I wanted to update you guys a little bit about the book, how it's going, okay? Whilst I eat my girl dinner, which is cereal. Okay, I don't feel like cooking today. I have a really bad migraine, the usual, so I'm just gonna eat and we're gonna talk a little bit about the book so far. Basically, you have like the real world, and it was replicated digitally, so a lot of people spend most of their lives on the digital world. They have to come out from time to time, but like they live in the digital world. The physical world is more, it's a bit emptier, it's not as in use, it's not, the upkeep isn't maintained, it's a lot like digital, right? So one of the girls is basically on the digital world and the other is on the real world, and they're like literally in the exact same places. They're staying at the exact same hotels, only one is decrepit and abandoned, which is the real world, and the other is like bustling and with activity and people, whatever, which is the fake world, the digital world. And each chapter is written in a very different way. The digital girl, she is a lot younger than the other one, okay? She's still a cadet in military school. The other one has graduated already, like is more mature, more like, I'm in danger, I like, this is weird, okay, what is going on? I'm starting to piece things together. Like it's more like work. And I like the difference between the chapters. I like the difference between the characters, and I'm really enjoying like the side characters as well, how they're involved. So the digital girl, she's with her nemesis, but she's in love with him. He is obviously in love with her. I don't know how to explain this, but like I just feel like he's hiding something. There's something happening that he is aware, but he's not letting her know. He like, it seems like he's going to tell, but then he doesn't, and then he's, I don't know. The other girl that's in the real world, the adult, the grown-up, and she was trying to capture the leader of the insurrection. He ends up framing her for murder and then kidnaps her from a prison cell. And so he's making her help him, but she's starting to realize there's like something else going on, which to me is so visible. So it's basically a group of 3 people plus her. So it's a girl, the guy, the leader, and then a child. And all 3 of these dudes know her from a time in her life that she completely forgot, which was her like graduation mission, but when she was graduating from military school, which is basically the mission that the other 2 are doing. It's like they're also in that type of mission or whatever. I think the dude started to fight against what was happening, either because of her or they met because she was trying to take him down, but then ended up falling in love with him, because I think they were together, the 2 of them. And the other girl that's with them, I think that's her best friend. Now just where I was like stopping to read, like where I stopped, really close to where I stopped, she talked to the child and she's like, do we know each other? Have we met before? And he's like, you're not, it might be worse if I tell you now for you to know, like, you know, memories, brain-wise, like it might cause you, like, maybe something happens, something like that, I don't know. So it will do more harm than good to tell you. So I'm like, oh, this one's about to break. So I really want to know what's happening, because they are definitely all friends. They all definitely know each other. And yeah, that's basically my update. There isn't much more. I'm very curious to see where this goes. I'm about, I won't say halfway through, but I'm getting close to halfway. It's been quite a few days, but I've been super busy. Okay, y'all, I wanted to take a little moment to give you guys a theory I have, okay? I am this far, okay? I'm just missing that little bit of the book left to read, and I have a theory, okay? So our story is moving along, okay? So we have Eral, which is the older girl that is on the real world, and we have Leah, that is the younger one that is on the virtual world. So Leah's father is a politician of sorts, right? And he had a baby with his wife, his late wife, and that baby died. I don't quite remember the age, but she was very, very young, like baby first years, first month, something like that, right? And then he adopted this child, Leah, and as a substitute for their daughter that passed away. I think she was like young. She was just young. She was a baby. And we have Eral that doesn't remember anything about like her past before she was at an orphanage, and she also forgot this mission that she went on. We've been over this, right? So here's the thing, right? When Eral met with the other dude, right, with her male interest, he asked her, do you recognize the name Sullivan? And she's like, who the fuck is Sullivan? I don't know the name. I don't recognize it anywhere. He's like, oh, no, it doesn't matter. And I was like, gotta remember that. And now I found out Leah's father's last name, which honestly probably already knew it. I just missed it. Or just didn't connect the dots, because we probably got her father's name really early in the book, and the Sullivan question came a lot after, so I didn't think it was a relevant name. But I was connecting the dots now, and I have a theory, right? My theory is Eral is Leah's father's real daughter that passed away, and then something happened, or maybe he removed Eral's memories and added them to Leah. Something happened, because he does mention in a letter, in an email, whatever that's left behind, that to like Leah's mother, right? That like she was healthy and better and whatever, but that child supposedly was already dead by that time. So I'm assuming something happened here, but I think Eral is his true daughter and Leah is just another one. Maybe they swapped them in the orphanage. I don't know, but I know something here. That is my theory. Anyways, that is my very, very small theory, but I'm really liking the book so far. We're in two very like interesting situations, and with Leah, we're like discovering all of this about the past, about her father, about like what is this project that the other one was working on, and Eral is basically searching for the same project, but like on Earth, on like the real world, but she's kind of more like trying to get this mission done and going through her hurdles, and like they're trying to infiltrate places, things like that. It's more practical, while the other one is more like we're getting information, we're getting the conspiracy theories here. But both are giving like small little pieces to the puzzle, and I'm really enjoying how this all is going about. So yeah, I wanted to register that theory because I want to see if I'm right or wrong. So I wanted to register that one. Okay, we're finally done with this book. I finished it today, okay, and I can't explain how much I love this book. I honestly wasn't anticipating liking it as much as I did, because again, this is YA, okay, but it is sci-fi YA, and that is very different. I am considering this sci-fi, okay, because the main premise of this book is existence of AI and this parallel virtual world of our world, like the copy of our world, but virtually, where you go into a pod and you put these helmets and they take you basically into this digital world. So sci-fi. Now I want to talk to you guys about the end, because the last clip you guys saw was me like hypothesizing of what exactly was going on between the characters. I don't remember exactly what I said, okay? But because you just watched it. So let me tell you like what the process was after that, right? So as I continued reading, I realized that, there was a lot more backstory to the girl's story, right? And after a while, I reached a point where I was like, I think they're the same person. And I thought the same thing when I was like giving you guys my hypothesis. But I was just like, it's kind of hard, because it seemed like the timeline was the same. But I had this itch behind my ear that kept telling me like, I think they're the same person. not that they're similar at all in terms of descriptions or personalities, and turns out they actually are. And now you could say, well, that's not much of a plot twist, right? Because I wasn't exactly surprised by it. But the way that they are the same person, that is the part that fucks me up. And I know I've been kind of spoiling it all for you guys throughout this video, but honestly, the plot twist at the end of this is just too precious. So if there's any chance that any of you are watching, they haven't read this book, which probably there is, I would advise you to just go, okay? Like, you've already heard enough spoilers. Take like a breather before you go so you forget a little bit about this video and about what I'm saying. But definitely go read this because, oh my god, I'm in love with this book. This book is just everything. And I have nothing to say. I have literally no pointers. This was an automatic 5 stars. Like, I finished reading it and I was like, fuck. Because I've been hooked on this since I started reading it. I was enthralled by this book. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't stop reading it. I loved every part of it. I literally have no points. I have nothing bad to say. Not a single thing. So it was just, I automatically knew, like, this is a 5 stars and I cannot wait to see what happens next. Now, it is late. Should I be going to bed to sleep? Yes. Am I going to? No, because I feel like I want to read. And I was really not sure what I was going to read next because I didn't want to read like a Fairyloot back to back. But this one was itching at me, okay? Because this is the Hermione one. I'm not sure it is, okay? I just think it is because it looks Hermione inspired, okay? Because tell me that this isn't Hermione. Tell me that this isn't Hermione. It is. We know it is. It is Hermione. And so because of that, right, I am very excited for it. Literally, it looks like Hogwarts. It looks like the Slytherin common room. This looks like the Slytherin common room. Come on. It is. It is. Like, it's a Hermione inspired one. This has been intriguing me for such a long time now. And like also like the sprayed edges are really cool. I really like them. And just everything about the book is really cool. So I want to read it. It's also very small compared to the other one. I want to read you the blurb because I did that on the previous one, so I'm going to do that for this one as well. Viola Sinclair has hidden her shadow magic her whole life. Discovery means certain death, for in the kingdom of Aragoa, dark magic is forbidden. When the queen finds out Viola's secret, she sends the royal assassin to kill her. He is given a cursed tattoo, 7 thorns on his arm for the 7 days he has to complete his deadly task. If he fails, he will be the one to die. The assassin is Rose Rocklard, entitled prince, arrogant fellow student at Vanderburg Academy, and Viola's mortal enemy. The chance to strike Viola down is at Rose's fingertips, but he needs something from Viola, and he's willing to spare her life and fake their engagement to get it. Forced to work together, Viola and Rose uncover terrible secrets, sinister threats, and an irresistible attraction. Can they learn to trust each other in time to save themselves and bring the light back to Aragoa? A devastating enemies to lovers romantasy. I'm gonna sit down, read, chill, and cozy up. Am I going to show you that? Probably not, because I'm gonna like literally turtle into my bed because it's cold. This is way too light for how cold it is. I literally have my little penguin companion on me because that is how cold I am. Hey all, so I come from the future. Whilst editing this video, I realized I actually lost the footage. I lost the footage about me reading this entire book. I don't know how, to be honest with you, because I was back up everything, and before deleting the original files from my phone, I double checked that I've actually downloaded them. So I don't know. They're not misplaced. I've hunted them down. I cannot find them for anything in this world. So I'm just gonna have to take the loss. And yeah, I don't even have the book anymore. That is the level of like ridiculous that this is. Anyways, let me give you the TLDR, okay? It's gonna be very short and sweet because honestly I don't remember anything as detailed as at the time because this book for me was not great. I think I gave it like 3 stars. I didn't like it. It was definitely a Hermione, but mixed with Snow White type thing with Hunter, and like he was basically hunting her, having to grab her heart and deliver it to the evil queen, and the evil queen had a magical mirror. It was very mix of like both Hogwarts and Hermione, but in like the tale of Snow White. And there was a lot of things that I didn't really like with the plot of this book. One of them was the arranged marriage. There was absolutely, or engagement in this case, there was absolutely no reason for this. Like he just fell in love with her and he wanted to be engaged to her, and that's the excuse he used. That's it. Also, they spent a lot of their days doing nothing. Just the whole thing wasn't set up correctly. I think the concept was really cool, but the execution wasn't great. I gave it 3 stars, but honestly, like, I'm just trying not to be mean because it wasn't horrible, but I also wouldn't advise anyone to read it ever. And there was just so many inconsistencies. I remember even making a TikTok about this. There's so many things that were very inconsistent. The characters were just annoying. Like, and the ending was the cherry on top of the cake. Like, it just, none of it. It was very discombobulated. It didn't make any sense. It was like trying to be so many things at the same time. There were parts of it that just weren't explored. And in the end, like, the play with death and dying and the other worlds, and it was a lot. It was just like the author was pulling like rabbits out of her hat, and it was never ending rabbits. It's just, there's no need. It was just, I didn't like it at all. I didn't like it. Yeah, I gave it 3 stars. Honestly, if I'm gonna be 100% honest, it would probably be a 2.5. Like, it was a waste of my time. I'm not gonna waste yours, and I'm so sorry that I kind of misplaced the footage. It was just because I remember talking a lot about it. So yeah, that's about it. Let's just move along because there's not much more to say about this book. It's just, again, short and sweet, but it just was what it was. Hey y'all, I am back. And I'm newly improved. Have you seen? Oh, yes, yes, yes. When you are bored on Valentine's Day, this is what you do. Okay, cool. So, that aside, I'm here and I'm back, and we're going to read another YA book. Gonna be honest, I'm too cozy, too warm to actually get up and go to my shelf and check if I have it here with me or not. Either way, it's way too cold for me to read an actual physical book because I want to be able to curl up in bed, not have to have my hands out holding a book. It's basically Thorn Season by Kira Azar. This is the original cover. Okay, I'm gonna be reading it on my Kobo. I have it ready to go. Okay, it's right here. And I'm super excited, but I wanted to read you guys the blurb. Do I have the blurb ready for this? No, I do not. Did I prepare? No, I did not. Anywho, I also want to show you before we get into the whole blurb thing. I did some upgrades to my Kobo. Look how cute it looks. Okay, it's very grungy. So it's very bubblegum on the front, very cool, edgy on the back. I also did a new update. I did that very famous TikTok hack where you basically put Velcro on the cover, and now I can remove the cover and read without a cover, which is very nice and comfortable to do at home. And then I can use this for on the go, or when I'm like at the end of the night when I stop reading, I can put it back on. Anyways, let me read you the blurb. Okay, so we're all on the same page. In the kingdom of Daradon, a persecuted few are wielders, in possession of a magical specter, a shimmering thread that can extend beyond their visible body to give a loving caress, pick a lock, even kill. Feared for this ability, wielders have always been hunted. Elisa Payne, heiress and daughter of a hunter family, is also a wielder. At 18, Elisa knows she's escaped execution thus far, only due to painful self-control and the efforts of her beloved father. Summoned to the harsh and glittering royal court for the debutante season, Elisa finds herself caught in a web of intrigue and betrayal, and caught between 2 equally dangerous, one a brutal ruler with the handsome face of a fairy tale prince, who would destroy her if he knew the truth, and the other, a bewailing foreign ambassador with secret agendas of his own. With the threat of discovery, look, this motherfucker always has to go to the litter box when I'm filming. Always, and I know you can hear it because I can hear it when I'm editing, and it drives me insane because this man for the past like hour did not touch that fucking box, but as soon as I start recording, this motherfucker starts going to the box. With the threat of discovery lurking around every corner and romance becoming an increasingly dangerous temptation, Alyssa will find that she has more to lose than her secrets. It's Rose season at the palace, but to survive she'll need to become the most vicious of Thorns. Anyways, I'm going to start reading this, okay? It is currently 10 p.m. I'm gonna read until midnight, maybe 1:30. And hopefully I won't procrastinate too much. But I'll keep you posted on my thoughts, on the book, and let's see how it goes. But I'm telling you right now, if I have another shitty book, it's always an adventure with this man in this house. I am busy, but yeah. So I'll see you in a little bit. Yeah. Well, hello there, my dearests. So it is the next day, and I gotta give you an update because it's better than what I was anticipating. So I actually could not put this book down yesterday. I kept on reading and reading and reading and reading and reading, and I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. So I read 44% last night. 44%. Granted, it's not a gigantic book, but you know, 44% is still something, you know what I mean? I like the setting a lot. I like the main character. Even though I feel like it's a predictable kind of plot line in a way. It's still very interesting, the way the powers work, um, what's going on, like the things that are escalating in this world as well. Yeah, we also have a mystery in between this whole thing because she's trying to figure out who stole something. So she's investigating it, and there's other people coming in and be like, stop investigating it or we'll murder you. The way magic works and how like she has repressed her magic, but then there's someone that's like so freely using their magic, and how all that works, the dynamics of politics between her country, but also the other country that handles with people with magic a lot better. And yeah, I'm just having fun. I'm enjoying myself. And so I just wanted to give you guys that little bit of an update and how like I was so surprised, mind you. Even though there were parts that were very predictable, I was very surprised on how much I was liking it. I thought it would be a slower story, but I was just hooked. Next thing I know, I couldn't stop reading. Also, I've been thinking about my subscription because this whole entire video is also for me to like reconsider whether it's worth keeping the YA subscription or not. But I'm actually reconsidering the subscription as a whole. I know, I know. But it's a really big expense for me. Like each of these books cost me around 40 euros. And having 40, like a special edition for 4 years, you know, it's kind of the average. But a special edition of a book I probably wouldn't even have the paperback to. Is it really worth it? Okay, y'all, let me give you the TLDR on what this book is about because I kind of forgot. So basically we follow this girl. She is like the daughter of a baron or something like that, and she has magical abilities, and the people with magical abilities get hunted and killed and all of those things by the actual king and his forces, and her family is technically a part of that force. Like her family is the family that is like the enforcer family, right? But her and her father, they kind of stepped out of that family and they took like a different name. They kind of like, yeah, we don't want to be with you. And they've lived their lives like apart from them because of her powers and because her father didn't agree with what they believed in and what they wanted, right? So we follow this girl, and she is close to her, and this is her 18th year, and on their 18th year, all the like courtiers, whatever, all the women go into the court, and they spend like, I think it's a few weeks, like 8 weeks or something like that, like about 2-3 months, something like that, in court with the king, with a lot of celebrations, a lot of like different festivities, everything, and it's their introduction to court and court life and stuff like that. And this year the king wants a queen, and he has set his eyes on her, okay? But before anything can happen, this bitch gets herself kidnapped, okay, by this sexy man, okay? Things get resolved, right? But this kind of pulls her into this whole thing where she needs to help one of her friends that's part of this family to find this magical object that has been tracing everyone with magical abilities. And he knows she has abilities. He's one of the few people that know. And so he's recruiting her in the guise of like, well, finding this will help us, you know, not allow anyone to use it to find you. And she's like, okay, but like, I don't really want to do that. And he goes, well, it would keep your dad safe. So I want you to help me. Otherwise, your dad won't be safe. And there's a whole thing, right? And she's like, okay, fine. So she goes into court and she starts doing mischievous things. They're trying to figure out who did it, what and whatnot. Obviously, we have like the love triangle that the blurb alerted to, right? You have the ambassador and you have the king. I might have already given you the spoiler, right? But we all know that these vlogs are always with spoilers. So spoiler, the ambassador and the kidnapper, same person, magical person, okay? These people, these bitches, and I knew from the start that he was who he was going to be. It was very obvious, right? Because we already know how these things go. But I was so very happy when they finally met in court. And she's like, oh my god, it's you motherfucker. It was so funny. Okay, I really like that part. And obviously, like, she hates the king. Like, it's not even a love triangle because she definitely hates the king. But the king is obsessed with her. I think he's been, like, biding his time to marry her. They're not too far apart. They're, like, 3 or 4 years apart. But it's kind of weird because she was a minor, you know? But okay, he's obsessed with her. He was obsessed with her. He wants to marry her, and she's using that to her advantage to like try to figure out who did
what and whatever. At the same time, she's spending time with the other dude and she's falling in love with him, obviously, because why not, right? They have attraction to each other and he's very possessive of her and very like interested in her from the start. Things kind of develop from there, but like basically we're at a part where a lot of things have come to a head. People have died. The ambassador is gone and she's left in court and the king is about to propose to her. And she just set up a trap to see who came to try and capture her. And she just got captured, but it wasn't by the person we thought it was going to be. And she got captured whilst showing it that she had her abilities. So they're using this special powder thing to capture her, and she's about to be outed to the king. Yeah, I don't want to read this part, okay, because I've been really enjoying this book, and so I don't want to read this part. This is like when I start to stagnate when I'm reading, especially a book that I've been enjoying reading so far, is when I get to this part where things are gonna happen, the key things are about to happen, and I don't want them to happen. I don't want it to happen. I don't want any of this to happen. So yeah, I'm struggling. Okay, y'all, I just finished. Okay, I really like this. I really liked it. I really did. I like our FMC. I like the storyline. I like, dude, the plot twist in this. I'm not gonna say it's the most plot twisty of all times, but like, I did not see this coming and I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. And I'm really curious to see what comes next. I'm kind of still reeling from it. I really enjoyed it. I really did. I don't know if I'd rate it more than 4 stars, to be honest. You can tell in the writing, it's YA. There's a lot of parts in it as well that are like there are like tell but not show, right? Especially in the beginning. And that irks me, even though I can move past it because usually that's only in the beginning of a book and after that, like, you know, slowly will show you things. But it had a lot of that in the beginning and that's kind of annoying to me. There are parts that are shallow, like even the celebrations, the activities within the court, even the other characters. It's more about putting the puzzle pieces together and figuring out the mystery than anything else. And in that regard, it's amazing, Mario. Like, in that regard, it's perfect. But, you know, there's a lot of things here that I feel like it wouldn't go more than a 4 star. But just because I enjoyed it so much and just because I got hooked in it, it's a 4 stars. Because I haven't read a book in 2 days. 2 days where I worked full time, okay, and I like procrastinated a bit before starting to read. I haven't actually had a book that I finished in 2 days. I haven't, even ones that I really enjoyed, and this one just sucked me in, even though there were the simplistic side of it. Anyways, that's it. I liked the book. It's a 4 stars. Really enjoyed it, and I'm gonna go to sleep because it's already past 1:30 in the morning. So today we're going to be starting my last Fairyloot YA book, okay, that I have so far here at home with me. It is the Swan's Daughter, okay, Swan's Daughter. And this is how the outside looks. It looks beautiful. The naked cover is gorgeous. The inside art is also super beautiful. And I'm super hyped to get to know what the story is about. I already started just a tiny little bit, okay, just a tiny little bit. This book is written in a way that's like very story-like, you know? It's very like children's story in the beginning, and I think it's slowly transitioning, like the writing style slowly transitioning to more like of a quote-unquote normalized one. So it's not so fairy tale-y, but yeah, okay, let me get you the blurb so you know what we're talking about. In a kingdom where love can be as dangerous as it is dazzling, Prince Eris enlists the help of Demelza, an enchanted Veritas Swan. Together they must navigate glittering balls and hidden truths to discover whether love can truly free them both. That's it. That's all it says. I bet that's not all there is, but that's all it says. So yeah, that's the book I'm gonna be reading next, and I'll keep you guys updated. Also, do you like my hair? I just dyed it black. I'm feeling it. And I think like my piercing fits in really well. And like, yes, the aesthetics are there. The aesthetics are getting too close to what I want them to be. So, yeah.
Good morrow, everyone. I just finished The Swan's Daughter last night, and here are my thoughts, okay? I gave this a 3.5 star, and it's not a bad book. I just don't think it was for me necessarily. It's a very simplistic YA story, and it's given in a very fairy tale-esque, enchanted world kind of, I don't know, like writing style, but also like plot style. Everything was very fantastical, very fairy tale-ish. Like the land was enchanted, the trees were enchanted, the house was enchanted, the clothes were enchanted, everything was fucking enchanted, okay? Like everything. It was very whimsical, very teeny. Not YA, teeny, okay? And I feel like it took me a really, really long time to get into this because at least the first few chapters, they were very, very fantastical. I don't know, it was just too much. They were doing too much and I just couldn't get into it. And I do see the beauty in it. I do think it's a beautiful way of writing. I do think it's honestly a very, very, like, it's a skill. Okay, it's definitely a skill, but it's also an acquired taste that I don't think is for me anymore. Maybe like years and years ago this might have been more for me, but right now it's just not for me. That's just not what I enjoy anymore. And it took me a really, really long time to get into this book, and then I finished it yesterday just out of sheer will because I wanted to get this story done. I needed to get the story done. The story itself follows like a girl and a boy, and the girl is the Swan and the boy is just a prince that's gonna get killed on his wedding day, right? Because when he gets killed, all the powers go to the wife, basically. And so he's scared shitless to marry because she's gonna die, and she's scared shitless to love someone because whenever she loves someone, her heart's key, the key to her heart, is given to this person, and this person can control if she can turn into a swan or not, and basically have power over her. And if that person dies, she also dies. So it's a whole, right, high stakes thing. But she escapes to his kingdom to help to basically flee her. So to flee her father, she escapes to his kingdom, and she's just basically trying to help him sort out who would be the best wife for him. And because there's this whole tournament that he decided to create, and now all of these potential wives are there and going through these three challenges to become his wife, right? His, like, end all be all, his, the love of his life or whatever. She's technically participating, but she's not really. She's just trying to help him like thin out the competition and basically like figure out who's trying to kill him outright and who is actually potentially open to having a long life with him. And obviously they start falling in love and whatever, and it's a very slow burny thingy, right? I don't think the boy realizes that he's falling in love, but the girl does start to realize rather quickly. And luckily enough, she wins. And there's this whole thing. Is it a cute little fantastical thing moment? Yes, but I think it was too childish, too teeny for me personally. And so because of that, it just wasn't for me, and I gave it 3.5 stars. We interrupt this video for a very, very cool unboxing. I just got my last Fairyloot box ever. This has the adult and the YA books in here, and in this video we're going to be unboxing the YA book for this month. Okay, let's get into it. If you want to see the adult one, I'm going to be unboxing that one on the adult vlog. It looks so cool right off the bat. This is the little card. The theme is Starlight Magic, and the book is The Sun and the Starmaker by Rachel Griffin. In a remote land where light is magic, Aurora is dawn to the elusive Starmaker and his enchanted palace. As danger closes in, she must uncover the truth before winter claims everything. Okay, sounds interesting. The book, though, hello. It looks so cool. I also like this. Oh, if the original cover was this would be so cool. So bottom has this kind of design. It's not very visible in camera. Then this is the spine, and the top has some stars. I will say the printing of the stars isn't the greatest. To be honest, I think the printing of the entire thing isn't the greatest. I don't know if it's meant to be this way or not. I don't know. I'm gonna say the edges are not my favorite. Although I love the art. I love the art on this and on the back as well. The sides aren't my fave. This is the cover, okay? But the book itself, girls, the book itself, I'm gonna say the feeling of the book is very papery. It's not the leathery kind of feel or the typical feel. It's very papery. But this is what it looks like. Like, that is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. I honestly really like this one so much. It's actually very, very beautiful. The inside is also very whimsical, very magical. I think this is beautiful for, like, you know, for YA. I think it's very nice. I like this one a lot. I also like how, like, the style of it as well. I like how it's very, like, not super rendered. It's more of a flat kind of look, but I like it because it's almost like anime-esque in a way. But then the characters are very much more rendered than the background, and like you work a lot with the textures of like rendered places and not as rendered other ones. So I really like it. I think it's a very unique kind of style. So yeah, I think this is beautiful. It's a beautiful book. I hope the story is beautiful as well. And honestly, this comes right on time with me finishing up this vlog, because I actually have enough time to read this before the vlog is done. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this little break. Back to our scheduled programming. I'm going to be starting it today, okay? Even though I'm already filming the adult ones, I'm going to be starting this one today. I hope I like it. Like you guys saw, I really liked certain aspects of the special edition. Other aspects I didn't love as much. I am going to see if I can get it on my Kobo just for simplicity's sake, okay? But I am going to try and read as much as I can today. Good morrow, everyone. So I didn't end up reading as much as I wanted to yesterday because, as I predicted, I got a bit sidetracked. I ended up procrastinating for quite a big chunk of the time, and also I kind of had forgotten that I had to prep stuff for the work week because it was Sunday. So I ended up not reading as much as I wanted to. I think I made it around like 30 something percent through the book. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm finding it very interesting. It's basically set in this village that was once at the top of a mountain, but after an earthquake, it became like surrounded by mountaintops that didn't allow the sun to reach them. And so it became a very, very cold and frosty place. And basically the sun loved this little village. She gave this man powers that would allow him to siphon the sunlight from the sun into the valley where this village now lived. And our main character, she basically lives in shadow, and she's living with her family in this little place, and this is hundreds and hundreds of years after the sun left, and we have the Starmaker, which is the name of the person that's responsible for the sunlight. She is about to get married, and she cross paths with the Sunmaker, the current Sunmaker, and they touch, and her skin glows up, and that is the sign that she is the next Sunmaker in line. And you know, it is time for the current Sunmaker to rest, basically to die, because if she doesn't use her powers, she dies, and that is valid for every Sunmaker. And so he has to train her to get her powers and to manage them and all of that. And then once she is good to go, he's probably just going to stop using his powers and die, right? I don't think she has realized that, but yeah. And that's kind of like as far as I went. Like, she has now moved into the palace where the Starmaker lives, going into her first day of work, basically of training. So far so good. I like the writing style. I like the world itself, the concept of it. It's very unique. I don't know if the author maybe based it on some kind of mythology or maybe like some kind of tale from their country. I don't know, right? Like, that would be really interesting to understand. But I do find the whole setting and everything really interesting, and the character as well. She's very strong-willed. And it's very interesting to see in her interaction with the current Starmaker, because they're kind of polar opposites of each other. She's very warm and cuddly, and maybe not cuddly, but like she's very warm and very like into her family and having a community, and he's lonely, you know, and he's seen so many people die. He's been doing this job for like, I think it was over 100 years maybe, or something like that, and he's seen so many people die. He's lost everyone he knew and grew up with. Like, you know, you can see there's a lot of pain, and so he just ices everything out, and he's very cold. So it's very interesting to see their dynamic, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Okay, y'all, it is 1:30 in the morning, and I'm gonna go to sleep. I was able to make quite a nice dent. I reached 68%, okay? That is so good, and it's such an interesting story right now. It's technically a fantasy, but I wouldn't even classify this as a romantasy. I would just classify it as a romance book, but in a fantasy setting. This book is basically all about the relationship between our rising star maker and our Starmaker himself. It's just a beautiful love story. I don't even typically read romances that much, of just purely romance, but this story has me a bit wrapped around its finger. Is that an expression that applies here? Also, it's supposed to be YA, but it's also a very mature story in a way. Like, there's immature moments, but the way the main character talks about her feelings and how she comes to conclusions about them and how she is growing, it's all very mature. And I find that very interesting, very refreshing, because again, this is a repeating thing with books nowadays. They're just childish. They're supposed to be these really strong people, and then they're dumb as bricks, and they have the emotional bandwidth of a piece of Lego. Okay, but yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll keep y'all posted on my thoughts about the book. But so far, it's been a very beautiful story, and I just been enjoying it a lot. Honestly, I have been enjoying it quite a lot. Okay, y'all, I just finished the book. It is done. Like, I literally have no cover on my cover, nothing. God, like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not an easy crier. I don't like easily cry when reading books, and I teared up. There was a moment there where I started to tear up. Yep. Yeah. So in the end, I gave this book like 4.5 stars. I'm still considering if I'm gonna go down to 4, to be honest, because there are a few pointers here, but I do think it depends on how you look at this book, right? So if you go into this book thinking it's a full-on fantasy or romantasy, it's not. That's not what it is. The focal point was never on the magic, was never on the society, was never on the nothing. It was on the mythology of the magic surrounding the Star Makers and the relationship between the Star Maker and our main character. And if you approach this book as a romance book, it will make more sense to you and you'll enjoy it a lot more than if you approach it as like fantasy. We don't dive in too much on what exactly it means to pull the light. Like, you do but you don't, or how their magic works, or how like the society works. There's no depth in any of those. And so initially I thought it was gonna be like a romance, like I mentioned to you guys, and I was kind of a little bit confused on why there's like no deep dive into these things. Well, maybe not a deep dive, but like at least a dive, at least, you know, something more than just dipping your toes. And it now makes sense because it's not the point of the story. The point of the story is the relationship between the characters. It does have a fantasy aspect to it, but it is definitely just a romance. That is basically all it is. There is a little bit of magic in it, but it's not really the focal point at all. And just the story itself, I think, was very interesting. It was a lot more focused on the emotions, on the, you know, coming to terms with this new life that our main characters has to like live with, the grieving of now I'm an eternal being, I'm going to see everyone I love die, the grieving of the relationship they might have had, and the future they might have had but they didn't, you know. It's about loss but also a change of life, and how like something that you don't want to happen, like a change in your path that you don't want to happen, didn't expect, it's against all your initial plans, can also lead to a better, brighter future. It's a lot more about that than it is about the actual magic and fantasy aspect of it, or the society surrounding it and whatever. I did see a lot of like, I did see a few reviews mentioning that like it's kind of lost potential, but I don't think it is lost potential, you know, not taking advantage of the fantasy world, because it is a very unique world and just concept and very interesting. I think it's just a different story. There's always a reason for a story, right? There's always like a focal point to a story, or a lesson to be learned, or something that this story is trying to give, right, to the reader. Whether it's just purely escapism, or like this intellectual thought process, or just a beautiful love story so you can, you know, feel connected to people in general, or, you know, a way to explore things that you wouldn't be able to explore in the real world, or, you know, whatever it is. Or a lot of times also going through trauma and going through grief and things like that, in a way that you can like slowly take it in through someone else's perspective without having to really dive deep into what you're going through, and just slowly go into it, right? Whatever the point of the story is, right, for the reader to experience, I think that's the most important part of it, right? In this book, it is to focus on those feelings, it is to focus on the relationship. I honestly, if I were to categorize this, this is a romance with a splash of fantasy, okay?
I really enjoyed this book. I'm really glad I included it in this vlog, and I hope you enjoyed it as well.
So yeah, guys, that was it. That is the end of the vlog. Finally, finally, okay. We went through quite a few books in this vlog. It was quite a ride, honestly. I feel like there was a lot of ups and downs, and the purpose of this was to really evaluate if this subscription was worth it for me, especially this box, because the YA genre is not something I'm super enjoying as of late. I feel like there's a lot of misses for me personally. I'm not saying that the books are bad, I just don't connect to them anymore. And I just don't relate. I also think that YA is a really, really broad category of books, because you have YA that is very like teeny, and then you have YA with spice, which doesn't make any logical sense. Like, define YA and define teen. Don't put everything in the middle. And I feel like for a really long time, this genre was just where everything that wasn't one or something different went, right? Everything that was fancy, romance, anything that was not super adult but also not super teen went there, and it's just too much of a broad descriptor. And for me, that's too much of a gamble. I would rather evaluate each book that I want to read and that I want to purchase. And these books are expensive, so I was really in the whole thing of like evaluating what to do. But I actually realized that I didn't want to keep the subscription at all. Like, the YA, the adult, I didn't want it. These subscriptions are quite expensive, and my thing was like, this was my little treat. This was my little treat every month, and I was really happy to receive them. But then I look at them in my shelves and I'm like, they don't feel special to me. These special editions don't feel special to me. It's not that the art isn't great. It's not that the books aren't great. It's not that they're not worth it. They are. If it's a book that you absolutely love, I would still purchase it, right? If it's a book I don't know anything about, if it's a book I have no idea if I'm gonna like or dislike, if I don't know how I feel about the genre, I don't know anything about it, why am I paying 40 euros for a book? It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't feel special to me, because I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's my 4 stars. I don't want a special edition of a 4 stars that didn't hit home, right? So I just ended up deciding not to continue the subscription. I canceled it. I already canceled it. You guys saw the last box I was ever going to receive, ever. And I am also vlogging currently the adult books. And that's where it's going to end. I do think it's worth looking at the list of like the Fairyloot books that come out and everything, or looking even at the editions and deciding if you want to give that book a try or not. Like, I think it's a good challenge to be like, every month I'm going to look at the Fairyloot, the script books and see if there's anything that I would like to read 100%. So I canceled it. I canceled the subscription, but this was a really nice challenge. This was a really nice video to do. I enjoyed it quite a lot. It was very informative, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to figure out, because it was weighing on me for quite a few months at that point, and I made a decision, and that's what I wanted. So I'm very happy with that. You guys already know how I feel about all of the books. They will be linked down below if you want to check any of them out. But that's all I have to say about the books, about the vlog, about everything else. I will be doing, like I said, a vlog for the adult books, so if you want to check that out, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to keep up with me and on a regular basis, like day-to-day basis and stuff, TikTok, Instagram, don't forget to check that out. And that is all for me today. I hope you all enjoyed this very chill, very chaotic, very talkative, chatty vlog, and I'll see you guys next week for another video. Bye!